Well, we're back with Marty and Carol telling our stories about our Class B camping experiences.
Today we're going to talk about some about cognition and how that can be challenged while you're preparing to go on a trip, during a trip, and communication, those types of things. And then we'll talk about some lifestyle type of things. Executive function, we know, can be affected by Parkinson's, and it certainly has impacted my life with organizing, planning, and so I've developed some things that help me. I write down everything, and then I might even type a list or organize or make a checklist to make sure I remember everything. It just helps me in my head to get organized and be able to plan and make make decisions better if I can see it in writing. That's kind of how I learn, is by seeing and then writing down. So that's always been the case, but it's even more useful to remember that, well, since I have Parkinson's.
Yeah, my planning is not as good as it used to be, and sequencing of events, even though that
Mm-hmm.
has improved with my DBS, I still have to remember you have to do this first, then this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's challenging sometimes. Um,
So when you're planning a trip, whether it's a long distance trip, like we're going to be going on a 4 week trip later on this summer to see family. So that took quite a bit of planning. But or if you're just going for a weekend type of thing, you still have to think about what you're going to be doing, when you're going to be doing it, where you're going, and how long you're going to drive, those types of things. And you can do a lot of that just spontaneously on the fly. But for me, I need to plan ahead. That's just my nature. I need to know what's going to happen when, and that works best for me. So we've and go ahead,
I was going to
Carol.
say, yeah, my husband, depends on me to be the person who navigates. And
Yes.
so, and oftentimes we find our GPSs are not leading us to the right places. So,
Exactly.
and sometimes he wants it fast, and I can't do fast. And when I'm trying to work quickly, I get kind of messed up. So, that's important too. Being able to not get flustered when you have to make a decision quickly.
Yes, that's very true. Some of our most heated discussions on the road have been about navigation and not being quick enough with the instructions, and then the GPS, as you said, is often wrong. So we turn right instead of left and end up in a terrible place. So that's I usually print out directions before we ever leave the house, so I'll have something to go by.
Hmm.
And then not getting flustered and not reacting emotionally is very important
Yes,
because,
yeah, because then it just kind of ruins the rest of the day for you
yeah,
when
it
you get
does.
real upset about something. Um,
Yeah.
Communication, we've got that listed under cognition here on our check sheet. Um, Oral communication is really important with your travel partner or your buddy or whatever. And I know that often we have softer voices, and some of the vans have motor noise or road noise that goes along with them. So we have to think about projecting a little bit more from the passenger seat, or if you're, for heaven's sake, in the back of the van, trying to get a
Oh,
message up to the
yeah.
front. That's really important. So the physical aspects of communication are important, as well as the social interactions that occur.
Right.
So,
That's very true, because you have to be communicating well. And if you can't hear what your partner's saying, who might be driving, and in my case, my husband always drives. If you can't hear him asking a question, or look for gas somewhere, and then you don't come back with the right response, he gets flustered and he gets irritated with me. So it's really important to have good two-way communication, so that you can understand and kind of read the person, just to know anticipate what they're going to need, and what you're going to have to provide for them.
yeah, it's really important to have that open line of communication going. Um,
Right.
I'm
Even before you head out on your trip, you need to kind of have that, to know what their expectations are, what your expectations are from the trip, so that you're on the same page. Because if they want to go off and do something that you have no interest in, that could be real big problems. You really need to talk it through before you plan a trip.
Mm-hmm. On the bright side, there are lots of things that are stimulating about travel. And, our brains get excited and get thinking in different parts of the brain when we see things that, like, 20 different life zones or, rock formations that go back to prehistory or something. I'm not well versed on any of those things, but, those are things that are fascinating and interesting to stop and see. So they're stimulating for our thoughts and our brain. Having to do this organization and this planning and the sequencing is also great for our cognitive skills.
Definitely. Learning new things is what we need to do to build new pathways and in our brain and keep our brain sharp and improve our cognitive skills. Even on a boring road through a state that doesn't have where like Highway 50 in Nevada is known as the loneliest road in the United States. There's nobody on it and there's not much to see. But when you said something about rock formations, the rock formations on that road are just fascinating and very beautiful. So there's something good to see from the window of your van, no matter where you are. Yeah. And it helps to learn new things and see new things.
That is so correct. And meeting new people.
Yes, definitely.
That is one of my favorite things about traveling is, having a shared meal with the people in the campsite next to you and getting to know where they live and what their lifestyle is like, whether they are people with a disability or not. It's just a great time to get together with people and learn from them.
Yeah, everybody has their own story, and it's interesting to learn that and what they're all about, and meeting new people is always a great thing.
Mm-hmm.